Welcome back to the grind for another Abyss guide for the Carina's Challengers Path 3 playlist, where we took the Carina's Challengers Carina's Challenge down Path 3, the full Path 3, to help with our Abyss exploration. Now this is for the fight against Dormammu, and if you're bringing Void along, he's amazing for a ton of fights, and this is no exception. So he has the class advantage, and the Dormammu is not difficult to fight. He's got an easy special 1 to Dex. The problem is if you Dex and get a buff, and then it gets converted, or there's a chance for it to get converted to a degeneration when it expires. So you want to avoid using champions that have buffs, because then you'll get lots of degens, unless you have degen resistance and ways to regenerate to mitigate that. However, if you just simply remove the Dexterity Mastery, like I did for this fight, you don't have to worry about that. It's much easier to avoid degen, and it makes the fight a lot more smooth, as long as your champions don't gain buffs in other ways. Now, I decided to remove it because it does not cost very much to respec that tree, depending on what you have in it. It's not as much as respecing the entire offensive tree, for example. So I just decided to do it and make my life easier for this particular fight. Now, if you don't want to, it is possible with spacing and timing to avoid dexing his special 1, and if you can shallow evade and avoid dexing when he dashes in at you, you should be able to do this fight with minimal amounts of degeneration and still do lots of damage. But if you want to just make it easier for yourself, you can just remove it. So that's what I did. I decided to do that for the ease and just to make it maybe a little bit less costly in terms of item use. And so that's what I did. And let me know if you did it without it or decided to take it off. But Void does fantastic for this fight. I'm pretty sure you can solo if you are very, very efficient with your skirmish charges, only doing 1 medium hit until the skirmish timer goes just about to go on cooldown again, and very, very slow playing the fight, throwing special 1s. I wasn't doing everything I could to maximize that. I was just trying to keep my spacing, keep control of the map. As I mentioned in another video, I haven't really played Void much except for this path. I took him to rank 5 finally and max sig for this run. So I wasn't worrying about the solo, and I think I got about 30% off in this one run, which wasn't too bad. And then I tested out some different champions, and as you can see, it's all about slow playing, taking up as much time as possible before that skirmish timer goes up, so that you can get as much damage over time for each hit, each skirmish charge that you have available, since you can only do a limited number of hits before they go unblockable and unstoppable. Now, I'm not going to make you watch the entire clip. I'm skipping ahead. You can see now we're at about 75%, so we took off 25% with our first set of skirmish charges. So if you play very well, you can get 50% off even without maximizing your charges, just playing safe and whatever, kind of casually. So 1 revive, maybe some health potions, and you can get that fight down with Void. Another option is Falcon on the team that I took along, but any champion with no natural buffs can do this fight. Falcon's great for most fights in the Abyss because he gains those passive cruelties because of the chance to evade that he is shutting down while you are locked on. And so Falcon does a lot of damage, and since I had dexterity off, I didn't have to worry about the buffs, so I didn't have to worry about the degen. So I was just pretty freely able to bait special 1s and attack and do as much damage as I could. And I tried to limit the hits that I did without the lock on active, so I wasn't wasting my hit charges, and I was able to do a good amount of damage with Falcon in each run as well. I think it was 2 fights with Falcon because I ended up messing up on one of my fights, but I think I got 40% off in this run. I can't remember if we started at about 40%, but it's pretty straightforward fight overall, as long as you can avoid the degen, and a simple way to do that is just removing the Dexterity Mastery. And since I don't have too much more to say about this fight, I decided to cut out everything except for some nice big special 2s, and you can watch how the damage just scales up and up and up. 25k, 27k, I think the next is like 28, almost 29k, and then we're going to be hitting over 30k with the last hit of those special 2s, so you can get some nice big yellow numbers with Falcon. He's pretty simple champion to play. Dormammu is not that difficult of a fight. So I hope that this fight goes well for you. Let me know which champions you brought in, what champion you used for this fight, and I hope to see you in the next video.